Since we're going to have a theme this season as we talk about Oklahoma in its first season in the SEC, and while I thought that theme would be built around how tough Oklahoma's schedule is, I understand folks saying Florida has a tougher schedule. I also see Samford is on their schedule. I don't see no FCS programs on Oklahoma's schedule this year. And not for nothing, Oklahoma got to go to Ole Miss, got to go to LSU, got to go to Missouri, gets Tennessee, Alabama at home, and then has to still play Texas. So miss me with what you think Florida may or may not be doing. However, I recognize Oklahoma's got a tough road. I was the first person to say so. I'm not enthused by this schedule. As a matter of fact, I want to know why Vanderbilt ain't on this schedule. And matter of fact, I want to know why Vanderbilt ain't on this schedule as they are predicted to be an SEC champion by some. I would like to play the 2024 predicted SEC champion in 2024. Look. It ain't that Georgia is picked to win the conference championship. Okay, cool. I got Georgia as the number 2 team in the country going in the preseason, and that's based entirely around what Kirby Smart has done in recent years and what he's got returning. I know everybody's all in on Carson Beck. I think he's going to be in the Heisman conversation because he happens to quarterback Georgia in the same way that Stetson Bennett was in the Heisman conversation because he happened to quarterback Georgia. Fact of the matter is, Stetson Bennett had a better 2022 than Carson Beck had 2023, and he still ain't winning. So there's that, right? Then there's what is Dylan Bell going to be or not be, and then how deep or not deep they're going to be on that defensive line. I still think you got Nazir Stackhouse and Warren Brinson coming up. You're going to need more than Mykel Williams on that defensive line to run that three-man odd front where they're going to be sending these simulated pressures all the time at Georgia. But the point that I wanted to raise here is I take a look at the preseason media poll because I think it's a good indication of what people think and people that cover the sport. I think it's a good reason to do it. One of the reasons that I do rankings is to, A, tell you what I think, and then see how this thing changes week to week. When the facts change, our opinions change. However, one fact has not changed. Georgia being an SEC champion, we can do. We can do that. LSU being an SEC champion, we can do. Alabama being an SEC champion, we can do. Hell, this season, I will even let you go with Missouri because they have a really soft schedule. However, what I'm not going to let you do is list those teams and not Oklahoma. And what I'm sure as hell not going to let you do is hand 2 points to Vanderbilt before you hand a single point to Oklahoma. Now, there's a definite way in which the SEC devises its media poll and the way in which it wants to do these rankings and the way it wants to count numbers and points. But the fact is the fact. You go looking at that SEC championship media day poll and you don't see Oklahoma and you see Vanderbilt, we can't take you seriously anymore. That's what that is. This is why making a ranking has always been difficult, and one of the reasons that I'm so proud of what I've been able to do here the last few years at Fox, because it's learning what people will accept and what people will not. What we will not accept is that Oklahoma is predicted to finish in the middle of a 16-team conference. Now, Oklahoma is going to finish higher than 8th in the SEC in 2024. I already hear y'all going, you're going to regret saying that. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Have you seen Oklahoma? This is the other thing that I needed to get across because I thought we were there with this after I talked about it earlier this week, but apparently we're not. We're just going to have to keep beating this drum all season. But it ain't so much that Oklahoma got to play the SEC. The SEC got to play Oklahoma. Some of y'all forgot that Oklahoma has won 7 national championships, that Oklahoma has a Heisman Trophy winner from Tuttle, Oklahoma, from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The best high school football player who ever lived in Kyler Murray, a walk-on in Baker Mayfield. And that's just the 4 in this century. Oklahoma makes the college football playoff, right? Now, you can talk about what they did there, except they got the defense coordinator who also beat the brakes off of Oklahoma at Clemson. Little old Clemson, as Dabo Swinney would like to do. And then I got to deal with this whole conversation around Oklahoma can't recruit because now they got to recruit against the SEC. What do you think they've been doing for the better part of 100 years, fool? I don't understand that. Vanderbilt has been an SEC member since 1933. Vanderbilt has won 49% of their games. That means, by definition, Vanderbilt is a loser. And all Oklahoma has done is win and win and win. Matter of fact, 2022 was Oklahoma's damn near 25 years run without a losing season. First time 24 years. Think about it in 1998. What did they do coming back? Go 10-3. Won 10 games in the regular season, I might add, right? This is the SEC. This ain't the Big 12. It's Oklahoma in both, okay? Forget the Big 12. Forget the SEC. Think back to Oklahoma. It's one of the things that I really wanted to discuss here because I think that you could make an argument for some of these teams being ranked ahead of Oklahoma based on the schedule and based on what they may or may not have on the defensive and offensive line. Like Ole Miss, okay, I'll let that go. LSU, depends. How much do you like LSU's talent versus how much you like Oklahoma's talent? And they really hate Oklahoma's talent. Unless I am mistaken, and feel free to tell me that I'm wrong, I saw one offensive player for Oklahoma listed among the all three of the SEC teams at the top, right? First team, second team, third team's Deion Burks, wide receiver. And I'm looking over there, I'm going, Jackson Arnold's right there, though. Like, do I have this wrong? As a matter of fact, doesn't Oklahoma have Gavin Sawchuk? You know, like, what am I missing here? And I think what I'm missing here is a lot of people are unfamiliar with OU. And that's what I've been running into a lot in the SEC. Because we are very familiar with the SEC. Hell, I'm extremely familiar with the SEC. I also would love people to know me or know us the way that we know them. And, like, that's also a hallmark of Oklahoma. One of the things I've said about this state is that I love it and it doesn't always love me back. I think Oklahoma's getting a dose of that in the SEC, right? You know what you are about. You know how good you have been. And people are going, well, you ain't done it over here. All right. Well, this is an opportunity for that to change. This season is an opportunity for Oklahoma to lay down a marker in the best conference in America, to lay down a marker in the sainted, vaunted SEC. All right. We're going to revisit this again and again and again. And while I understand that this is going to be a conversation that many people are going to have around disrespect, tell me what's respectful about it. Like that's just it though, right? Tell me what is respectful about not believing that Oklahoma is going to show up to SEC and be good. Just be who they have been. You know, like you would want this if you were anybody else. And in matter of fact, if you're Vanderbilt, you're going, why you got to throw us? Why are we catching a stray on this one, man? We know we're not built to win an SEC championship. What are you doing to us? We've won 2 SEC games in 2 years. Somebody out here has made a mockery of a thing that I take very seriously because it's my job, right? I don't always think people should have votes. I don't always think people take the privilege of voting on these things as seriously as they do because they're like, it's all wrong anyway. It's all just for a talking point in July. It's all serving the conference engine. It's all serving the engine of telling the story you want to tell going into the preseason. Yeah, that's our job. That's what we do. We tell stories. We give opinions. We back them with facts. We don't live in other realities. But the job is talk about the sport. Give people reason to talk about the sport. And don't do it from a stupid standpoint. People are smart. They know who Vanderbilt is. They know who Oklahoma is. They know who LSU is. If you are smart with people, they will be smart back with you. This is a smart show. It invites smart viewers. I wish that more of the SEC media was that.